The vast emptiness of space stretched endlessly, cold and silent, broken only by distant stars. Near a crumbling space station drifting at the edge of a forgotten star system, a massive shape floated slowly. Millions of barnacles clung to its body, making it appear almost like a moving asteroid. It was an ancient alien dragon, once mighty and feared across galaxies, now reduced to weakness and decay. Its scales, once shining with colors that could blind a starship pilot, were dull, cracked, and scarred from centuries of battles. No one approached it anymore. Other alien species gave it a wide berth, whispering legends of its deadly power and terrible temper. For thousands of years, it had been left alone, abandoned to drift in space, suffering quietly as its strength faded. The barnacles were not just parasites, they were slowly consuming its energy, locking it in a slow, painful prison. The dragon moved with great effort, and even a small gesture caused tremors across its enormous body. Yet, in its tired, glowing eyes, there remained a spark, a hint of intelligence, memory, and deep sadness. On this day, a small human freighter drifted into view, its engines humming softly. The crew had been sent for routine supply deliveries to the old station. Humans were often considered weak in this sector of space, not taken seriously by alien species. Among the crew was a human named Kale, young but brave, with curiosity that often outweighed caution. Kale had been staring out the viewport for hours, fascinated by the strange patterns of debris and the glowing nebula beyond. Then he saw it, the giant shape, covered in barnacles, drifting slowly like a wounded giant. "Do you see that?" Kale whispered to the pilot, pointing at the massive form. The pilot shook his head. That's the old dragon," he said, voice trembling. "Nobody goes near it. It's dangerous. Ships have disappeared near it for centuries." Kale's eyes widened. It's alive. And it's hurt. Look at all those barnacles. It can barely move." The pilot frowned. "Kale, this isn't a zoo. Let's just leave." But Kale could not turn away. There was something in the dragon's eyes that called to him. A silent plea, a loneliness that no human could ignore. "I can help," he said softly, almost to himself. "It won't survive like this." Against the protests of the pilot and crew, Kale suited up in a small spacesuit and left the ship. The void of space stretched around him, cold and dark, but his determination burned bright. He slowly floated toward the dragon, hand extended. The dragon's enormous eyes turned toward him, glowing faintly in the starlight. For a moment, it froze, every muscle tense. It had seen thousands of humans before, most bringing weapons or threats. This one was different. There was no fear, no anger, only cautious intent. Kale reached the dragon's massive forearm, its surface cracked and barnacle-covered. He began working carefully, loosening the first small clusters of barnacles. The dragon flinched slightly at first, then stayed still, watching him intently. Minutes passed, then hours, as Kale cleaned carefully, offering nutrient gel he had prepared for emergencies. The dragon sniffed it, uncertain at first, then slowly began to accept it. By the time Kale returned to the ship, exhausted but determined, the dragon had shifted slightly closer, almost as if to say thank you. Its eyes glowed faintly, and a soft vibration emanated from its throat, a sound Kale instinctively understood as acknowledgement. Over the following days, Kale returned, bringing more supplies and carefully cleaning barnacles from its scales. Each visit was dangerous. Drifting too far from the freighter or misjudging movement could be fatal. Yet the dragon began to trust him. Its immense body, once rigid and defensive, relaxed slightly. When Kale spoke softly, the dragon's head would tilt, listening as if understanding. During one visit, Kale noticed strange marks under the barnacles, ancient scars, symbols, and markings from battles long forgotten. He realized that this dragon had once been a warrior, perhaps one of the greatest of its species. Stories of alien dragons often told of power, destruction, and fear, but Kale could now see another side. Endurance, wisdom, and pain endured in silence. One day, Kale spoke aloud while cleaning the dragon's wing. "You've survived longer than anyone should. You've seen centuries pass. You're not just alive, you're amazing. And you don't have to stay alone anymore." The dragon shifted slightly, brushing its head gently against his hand. The gesture was subtle, but Kale understood it as trust. A promise that it would not attack, that it recognized him as a friend. Rumors of a human daring to approach the abandoned dragon spread slowly. Some aliens laughed, mocking the human's bravery, calling it foolish. Others watched with suspicion, wondering why the dragon did not retaliate. Kale ignored them, focusing entirely on the creature before him. He knew the dragon's power could be fearsome, yet its suffering had made it vulnerable, and kindness had begun to forge a bridge between species. At night, Kale often stayed by the dragon, staring at the stars. The creature's enormous form stretched across the void, illuminated by faint starlight. Sometimes it hummed softly, a deep melodic vibration as if recalling memories from long ago. Kale realized it was not only a beast, it was a living archive, a creature who had seen the rise and fall of civilizations, battles between empires, and secrets no human had ever known. Kale understood now that saving the dragon was not just an act of compassion. It was the first step in awakening a being of immense knowledge and power. And though the galaxy had long abandoned it, he would not. He had found a connection across species, a fragile bond of trust, and he intended to protect it at all costs. The first part of their story ended not with dramatic explosions or battles, but with a quiet moment in space. A human floated beside an ancient dragon, removing barnacles and offering nourishment. The dragon, once abandoned and forgotten for millennia, moved slightly closer, and its glowing eyes held something they had not for thousands of years: hope. The galaxy may have feared the dragon, but Kale had seen the truth. Beneath its enormous, scarred body was wisdom, strength, and a being capable of great loyalty. And Kale knew that this was only the beginning. The forgotten beast had survived the neglect of centuries, and now, thanks to one human, it had a chance to live again. For the first time in millennia, the dragon was not alone. Days passed, and Kale returned to the ancient dragon every morning. Each visit was a careful routine. He brought nutrient packs, cleaning tools, and protective gear to remove the barnacles that covered its massive body. The dragon no longer flinched at his approach. Instead, it watched him closely, its glowing eyes following every motion. Kale had learned to read those eyes. A slow blink meant the dragon was calm. A flick of its tail indicated curiosity. A low rumble in its chest warned of discomfort. The small human realized that communication did not require words. Gestures, patience, and understanding were enough. The freighter crew watched Kale with a mix of awe and worry. "Kale, this is dangerous," said the pilot. "It's enormous. You can't just float up there and touch it every day." Kale shook his head. "It's hurt and it trusts me. If I don't help, no one will." And so he continued, carefully peeling away barnacles layer by layer. It was painstaking work. Each barnacle was fused to the dragon's scales, some as big as Kale's arm. Removing them required precision and care, or the dragon could be injured. Sometimes the dragon would wince, but Kale always paused, letting it adjust before continuing. Over time, the dragon's strength slowly returned. Its movements, once sluggish and awkward, became more fluid. While he worked, Kale noticed details of the dragon he had not seen before. Its scales shimmered faintly beneath the barnacles, revealing colors that shifted like liquid sunlight. Its wings, though tattered, were immense and powerful. Its claws, curved and gleaming, were capable of crushing entire starships, yet they moved gently when Kale floated near them. One evening, Kale stayed longer than usual. The station's lights flickered as distant meteors passed by, and the void outside was a deep blue. He floated near the dragon's head, carefully brushing barnacles from its jaw. The dragon leaned down slightly, nudging him gently with its snout. Kale smiled. "You don't have to be afraid anymore," he whispered. "I won't hurt you." The dragon responded with a soft vibration from its throat, a sound Kale had come to understand as a form of gratitude. It had lived for thousands of years, feared and abandoned, and now a human was offering care and compassion. As Kale continued, he began to notice something extraordinary. The dragon's eyes, once clouded with pain and fatigue, now seemed clearer, sharper. He could see memories flicker in them, images of distant worlds, ancient battles, and civilizations long forgotten. The dragon was sharing its past with him, not with words, but with emotions and images that Kale could sense in the gentle hum of its body. It became clear that the dragon was intelligent, far beyond anything Kale had imagined. It remembered alliances, betrayals, and knowledge that no human or alien had accessed in millennia. Kale realized that saving the dragon was not only an act of kindness, it was opening a door to knowledge that could change the galaxy. The human and the dragon developed a routine of trust. Kale would feed it, clean it, and sometimes just sit nearby, speaking softly. The dragon would hum, shift closer, or extend a claw slowly so Kale could rest his hand upon it. They learned from each other. The dragon learned patience and care from Kale. Kale learned history, strategy, and survival from the dragon. One day, as Kale floated beside the dragon, a small alarm on the freighter beeped. "Pirates are nearby," the pilot warned. "They've been scanning this sector." If they see the dragon, they'll attack immediately. Kale looked at the dragon. Its body tensed and the tail flicked in agitation. He understood. The creature knew the danger. "We'll be careful," he said softly, though he knew it would not be easy to hide something so massive. 4 hours, Kale worked with the dragon to find a safer position near the station, using debris and shadow to hide it from sensors. The dragon moved slowly, carefully adjusting its enormous wings and tail. Kale's small human hands guided, touched, and soothed it through the process. Together they became a team, moving in silence, avoiding detection. After the danger passed, Kale spoke again, floating near the dragon's head. "You trusted me today. That means something. I won't let anyone hurt you." The dragon rumbled softly in response, brushing its massive head against him. Kale felt warmth, not from heat but from connection. The bond between human and dragon was growing stronger. As days turned into weeks, Kale noticed more changes. The dragon's hums became deeper, more musical, almost like a language. Its wings began to regain color, the scales reflecting light like a living prism. The barnacles, though still many, were less numerous as Kale removed them carefully. And the dragon, once slow and weak, began moving with confidence, its head lifting higher as if regaining pride. The freighter crew began to respect Kale's determination. "You've done something incredible," the pilot said one day. "I've never seen a human gain the trust of a dragon like this." Kale smiled. "It's not just me. It's understanding, patience, and respect. It's about seeing who they really are, not what others say." The dragon, now stronger, began to respond in new ways. It nudged Kale to show directions, guiding him to areas of its body that required care. It hummed louder, almost like laughter, when Kale made a joke or sang softly while working. Slowly, the two of them began to communicate as partners. One night, Kale floated beside the dragon under the faint glow of distant stars. He rested a hand on its massive head and whispered, "You're not alone anymore. I'll be here and together we'll survive. Maybe even thrive." The dragon's eyes glowed brightly in response, a slow, radiant shimmer that spoke more than words could. It had endured millennia of neglect, cruelty, and solitude. Now it had someone to care for it, someone to understand it, and the bond was unbreakable. For Kale, this was only the beginning. He had not just saved a creature. He had awakened a guardian, a being of immense knowledge and power. And the dragon, once feared and abandoned, had found trust in a small human. The galaxy remained vast and dangerous, but in the quiet moments beside the human, the dragon felt hope again. And Kale understood that the human touch, the patience, the care, the courage to reach out, had the power to change not just one life, but potentially the fate of many worlds. Together, human and dragon waited, preparing for what lay ahead, their bond stronger than fear, stronger than doubt, and stronger than the countless barnacles that had once held the ancient beast captive. Weeks passed since Kale first approached the ancient dragon. The bond between human and beast had grown stronger. The dragon, once weak and burdened with barnacles, now moved with more strength and purpose. Its scales shimmered faintly beneath the patches of barnacles that Kale could not yet remove, and its eyes glowed brighter, reflecting intelligence and curiosity. Kale floated near its massive head, carefully brushing off another layer of barnacles. "Almost there," he whispered. "Just a little more and you'll feel better." The dragon leaned slightly, allowing him to work. It had learned patience just as Kale had learned caution. Every touch, every movement was a silent conversation of trust. One day, as Kale was cleaning a stubborn cluster near the dragon's wing, he felt a sudden surge of energy from the creature. The dragon flexed its enormous wings, sending ripples through the void. Kale held on tightly, amazed at the raw power beneath the barnacles. The dragon exhaled, and a faint stream of cosmic energy shimmered across the station's hull. Kale realized that the dragon's power, long dormant, was beginning to awaken. "You're stronger than I imagined," Kale said softly. "You've been holding this energy inside for centuries." The dragon rumbled in response, a sound deep and resonant, almost musical. It was as if it understood his words. Over the next few days, Kale focused on feeding the dragon nutrient-rich gel, carefully prepared to restore its strength. Each meal seemed to spark more energy in the creature. Its movements became more fluid, its body more responsive. The barnacles, though still numerous, began to loosen on their own, perhaps sensing the dragon's renewed vitality. During one session, the dragon extended its massive neck toward Kale. Its glowing eyes flickered images, memories of ancient star systems, forgotten wars, and civilizations lost to time. Kale gasped. He could feel the weight of centuries, the knowledge of battles that had shaped galaxies. The dragon was not only alive, it was a living archive, a being with wisdom far beyond any human. "You've seen so much," Kale whispered. "I want to learn from you. We can face what's coming together." The dragon's hum vibrated through the station, almost like a low agreement. It had chosen him and now it shared its memories willingly. As the dragon regained strength, its protective instincts grew. Kale noticed subtle changes in its behavior. It would position itself between him and the station's edges, keeping him safe from debris or unexpected hazards. When small alien drones passed nearby, the dragon would flare its wings, creating a shield of energy that pushed them away. Kale realized that the dragon's power could be controlled, not just destructive but protective. One night, Kale floated on the wing of the dragon, looking out at the stars. "We're ready, aren't we?" he said. "Ready to face whatever comes next." The dragon purred softly, vibrating its chest in a steady rhythm. Kale could sense anticipation, focus, and understanding. The dragon was no longer just a wounded giant, it was a guardian, awakening from a long slumber. Soon the dragon began testing its abilities. It sent waves of energy into the nearby station, carefully observing the effects. Panels hummed, lights glowed brighter, and the energy flowed through conduits that Kale had never seen before. The dragon was experimenting, learning what it could do safely without causing damage. Kale assisted, guiding it, encouraging gentle control. They were partners now, learning from each other. During one session, a small group of scavenger ships approached, drawn by the dragon's activity. Kale tensed, but the dragon was ready. It raised its massive head, and a concentrated burst of energy shot outward, creating a barrier that kept the scavengers at bay without destroying them. Kale watched in awe. The dragon was not only powerful, it was intelligent in using its power, understanding consequence and restraint. "This is incredible," Kale whispered, touching the dragon's snout. "You're awakening and you're choosing to use your strength wisely." The dragon's hum seemed to vibrate with pride. It had been abandoned for centuries, left to weaken and die, yet now it had purpose again. With each passing day, Kale noticed the dragon regaining more than just strength. Its memory became sharper, recalling star systems, energy patterns, and threats that had been forgotten. It began sharing strategies through subtle gestures and hums, teaching Kale to understand dangers beyond human experience. Together, they began preparing for challenges that neither could face alone. One morning, while Kale was examining the dragon's tail, he felt a sudden surge of energy. The dragon had moved with fluid grace, releasing a controlled burst that lit up the void like a small sun. Kale was lifted slightly by the energy, then gently set back down. He laughed, exhilarated. "You're ready," he said. "Stronger than ever and ready to protect yourself, and me." The dragon shifted, nudging Kale with its massive snout. Its eyes flickered with memories of battles, victories, and defeats. Kale realized that the creature was teaching him, sharing its wisdom to prepare for the dangers ahead. This was no longer just a dragon recovering from neglect. It was an ancient warrior, reborn, guided by trust and care. The freighter crew watched from a distance, amazed. Even the pilot, who had doubted Kale's judgment, now recognized the dragon's transformation. "It's incredible," the pilot said. "I've never seen anything like this. Kale, you've done more than save it. You've awakened it." Kale nodded. "It's not just me. It's the trust between us. That's what's powerful. That's what brings it back to life." The dragon purred again, coiling its enormous tail gently around the station's debris for support. Its barnacles, though still present, were less prominent, and its scales shone like polished metal under the station's lights. It had been abandoned, left to die, and now it was alive again, stronger than it had been for centuries. Kale floated beside the dragon, feeling a mix of awe and responsibility. He understood that this awakening was not just about strength, it was about knowledge, wisdom, and preparation. Together, they were more than human and dragon. They were a team, a force that could face whatever the galaxy had in store. The dragon's energy pulsed steadily, and Kale could feel the rhythm of its life, its power, and its awakening. It was no longer weak or abandoned. It had found a human who believed in it, and in return, it had shared its strength, wisdom, and trust. Kale smiled. "We're ready," he said softly. "Ready to face the galaxy together." The dragon's eyes glowed, and a deep hum resonated through the station. It was the sound of awakening, of power restored, and of a partnership forged across species, centuries, and loneliness. The forgotten dragon had been abandoned, left to suffer under millions of barnacles, but now it was alive, aware, and ready to rise. And so, under the stars and the quiet void of space, human and dragon prepared. Their bond, built on trust, patience and courage, had awakened a power that could change the fate of worlds. Together they would face the challenges ahead, and neither would ever be alone again. The quiet of space was shattered by distant alarms. Kale looked out from the freighter's viewport and saw a fleet of sleek alien ships approaching. Their markings were sharp, their weapons visible and their intent clear. They had detected the dragon and they intended to claim it, or destroy it. "Pirates!" shouted the pilot. "They're coming for the dragon." Kale didn't hesitate. He had spent weeks building trust with the ancient dragon. He knew its power had awakened, but he also knew that this was the first real test. Floating in his suit, he approached the dragon's massive head. "It's time," he said. "We face them together." The dragon's eyes glowed brighter, scales reflecting light like molten metal. Its massive wings flexed slowly, creating subtle vibrations in the void. Kale felt the energy pulse through the station, a warning, a promise, a readiness to act. As the first alien ship fired, the dragon exhaled. A beam of pure energy shot from its mouth, striking the ship and sending it spinning away harmlessly. Kale felt the heat of the energy even in his suit. The dragon's roar followed, not of anger but of power and command. It was a sound that shook the station and echoed across the void. The pirates adjusted their approach. They split into smaller groups, hoping to flank the dragon. Kale moved quickly, coordinating from above its wings, pointing to weak spots in their formations. The dragon responded instantly, whipping its tail, creating energy waves that deflected incoming fire. Together, human and dragon became a single force. One ship broke through the initial defense, closing in fast. Kale gripped the dragon's scales as it shifted, curling its massive body to shield him and the station. Its claws extended, scraping against the hull and sending sparks into space. The alien ship hesitated, and the dragon released another wave of energy. The ship was disabled, floating harmlessly into the void. Kale could see more ships approaching, dozens of them. But the dragon did not panic. Its body, once weak and burdened by barnacles, now moved with precision and strength. Each movement was controlled, each strike calculated. Kale realized that the dragon was not just powerful, it was smart, strategic, and aware. During the battle, Kale directed energy beams and debris to create barriers, helping the dragon block incoming attacks. He noticed the dragon reacting to his gestures, almost as if it understood every thought. The bond between them had grown so strong that they communicated without words. Every motion, every glance, every vibration of the dragon's hum conveyed a message. A larger alien ship appeared, its hull glowing with advanced weaponry. Kale's heart raced. "We can't let it get close," he said. "Use your wings. Push it back." The dragon stretched its enormous wings, creating a massive energy shield that extended outward. The alien ship fired, but its weapons bounced off harmlessly. The dragon's tail lashed out, striking the ship and sending it tumbling into debris. Kale held on tight, exhilarated by the dragon's strength. The battle raged for hours. Kale coordinated attacks, using every tool available, while the dragon unleashed waves of controlled energy. Despite their small size against the fleet, they worked as one, human intelligence and dragon power combined. Each strike was precise, each movement synchronized. At one point, a smaller alien craft tried to sneak around the freighter to strike Kale directly. The dragon noticed instantly. It roared, a deep vibration that shook the void, and whipped its tail, striking the ship and disabling it before it could fire. Kale realized that the dragon not only protected itself but also him. It had accepted him fully, recognizing him as a partner, not a threat. As the battle reached its peak, the alien fleet hesitated. They had never seen a human work in perfect coordination with an ancient dragon. Every attack was met with counterattack, every approach blocked. The pirates could feel the strength, strategy, and intelligence of their opponent. Kale looked at the dragon, floating beside its massive head. "They're scared," he whispered. "We've shown them what we can do together." The dragon hummed in agreement, exhaling a wave of energy that swept the remaining ships away. One by one, the alien ships retreated, fleeing from the force they could not defeat. When the last ship vanished into the distance, Kale and the dragon floated in silence. The station was intact, and the void returned to its quiet state. Kale let go of the dragon's scales and floated back, heart pounding. "We did it," he said softly. The dragon lowered its massive head, nudging him gently. Its eyes glowed warmly, a silent acknowledgement of their victory. It had not only survived but had fought alongside a human, showing power, intelligence and trust. Kale understood now that the dragon was not just a creature of strength, it was a guardian, a warrior, and an ally. Over the next few hours, Kale helped repair minor damages to the station and tended to the dragon, who had fought tirelessly. Its wings shimmered, reflecting starlight, and its tail curled protectively around him. They rested together, knowing that the bond formed in battle was stronger than anything either had experienced before. Kale realized that the dragon's awakening was more than physical strength. It was the understanding that it could trust, rely on, and work with another being. The human touch, the patience, care, and courage to reach out, had transformed the dragon from a forgotten, abandoned beast into a living guardian capable of defending worlds. The freighter crew watched in awe. "I've never seen anything like this," the pilot said. "A human guiding a dragon fighting off an entire fleet, it's unbelievable." Kale smiled, floating beside the dragon. "It's not just fighting. Just trust. And now we're ready for whatever comes next." As the stars glimmered around them, the dragon hummed softly, wrapping its tail protectively around Kale. They had faced danger together, survived, and forged a bond that no alien fleet could break. The galaxy was vast and filled with threats, but human and dragon had proven that together, they were a force unmatched. The battle had ended, but the story was far from over. Kale understood that challenges would come again, yet he no longer felt fear. With the dragon at his side, he felt a power that could protect, survive, and even change the fate of worlds. And so, under the quiet glow of distant stars, human and dragon prepared for the future. They had fought, they had stood together, and they had awakened a force that neither time nor abandonment could diminish. The galaxy would soon learn that even the most feared and abandoned creatures could rise again, with the right bond, patience, and courage. After the battle, the quiet of space returned. Kale floated beside the dragon, feeling the slow, steady rhythm of its heartbeat through the hull. The creature had fought with power and intelligence, showing that centuries of abandonment had not diminished its strength. Now it rested, wings partially folded, tail coiled gently around the station, eyes glowing softly in the dim light. Kale knew that the galaxy had changed. The humans and aliens who observed them had seen something extraordinary, a partnership between species forged not through domination, but through trust, care, and courage. This alliance was unspoken yet undeniable. As the freighter crew worked to repair minor damages from the battle, Kale floated near the dragon's head. "We've done well," he said. "But the galaxy is full of others who don't understand us. We have to prepare so we can protect more than just ourselves." The dragon rumbled, a deep vibration that Kale had come to interpret as agreement. News of their victory traveled quickly. Other alien races who had long feared the ancient dragon began to approach cautiously. They had once seen it as a weapon of destruction, abandoned and dangerous. Now they saw it as a guardian and Kale as its trusted partner. Many hesitated at first, unsure whether to approach. But Kale, floating alongside the dragon, extended gestures of peace. He offered supplies, shared knowledge, and demonstrated that the bond between human and dragon could be a force for protection rather than war. One delegation arrived, a group of diplomats from a distant star system. They had come expecting a monster, a threat, but instead found a massive, intelligent creature resting peacefully, beside a small human who radiated confidence and trust. Kale explained their story simply, speaking of the dragon's suffering, the long years of neglect, and the bond they had forged. The diplomats listened, astonished. This is incredible," one alien said. "You have not only saved a creature but created an alliance. Between species, across worlds." Kale nodded. "We can protect more together than we ever could alone. The galaxy is dangerous, but with understanding, patience, and courage we can change it." The dragon, sensing Kale's words, extended a wing gently, showing power without threat. Its hum resonated through the station, a sound of trust, strength, and awareness. Kale realized that the dragon's energy, once dormant, had not only returned, it had evolved. It could now act as a guardian, a protector, and a symbol of what could be achieved when species worked together rather than against each other. In the days that followed, Kale and the dragon began organizing patrols. They moved across sectors that had once been plagued by pirates and hostile aliens, showing that cooperation was stronger than fear. Kale guided the dragon in precise energy control, while the dragon protected him and the freighter. Together, they became a symbol of hope in a galaxy often ruled by chaos. During a quiet moment, Kale floated atop the dragon's back, looking at the stars. "You've taught me more than I ever imagined," he said softly. "Strength, patience, wisdom, and trust. We're more than just human and dragon. We're a team and now we're a beginning. The dragon's eyes glowed warmly, flickering with memories of long-lost civilizations and distant battles. Kale could sense its thoughts: curiosity about the future, hope for allies, and readiness to protect life that it once thought unworthy. The dragon had endured abandonment, cruelty, and loneliness for centuries, yet it had found purpose again. Soon, other humans and aliens came forward, inspired by Kale and the dragon. Some offered supplies, some offered knowledge, and others offered companionship. The dragon tolerated their presence, but it was clear that Kale remained its closest partner, the one it trusted completely. Together, they became the center of a growing alliance, a force that could defend the innocent and deter aggressors. One evening, as Kale fed the dragon a carefully prepared nutrient pack, he noticed something remarkable. The dragon's hums had become rhythmic, almost like language. It was communicating not just in sound but through gestures, energy pulses, and subtle body movements. Kale realized that he had helped awaken more than strength. The dragon's mind and spirit had become alive, aware, and engaged. "Do you understand?" Kale asked softly. The dragon responded with a slow blink and a vibration that coursed through the station. It was a simple answer, yet full of meaning. Yes, it understood, and it agreed. Over the following weeks, Kale and the dragon continued to expand their influence. They defended vulnerable outposts, guided ships through dangerous sectors, and mediated disputes between alien factions. Everywhere they went, the story of the human and the ancient dragon inspired others. It became clear that their bond was more than friendship. It was a model for cooperation, proving that even the most feared creatures could be allies when treated with respect. The galaxy began to shift. Pirates and aggressors grew wary of regions patrolled by Kale and the dragon. Alien civilizations who had once fought against each other began tentative discussions, seeing the benefits of unity. Kale realized that the dragon's awakening had created a ripple effect. One act of trust and courage had sparked hope across worlds. Late one night, Kale floated beside the dragon under the distant glow of a nebula. "We've done something important," he said. "Not just for us but for everyone who will come after. A new alliance, a new way to see each other." The dragon hummed in agreement, nudging him gently. Its eyes reflected stars, light, and centuries of wisdom. Kale knew the journey was far from over. The galaxy would always have threats and there would be challenges ahead. But with the dragon at his side, he felt confident. Together they had faced abandonment, awakened power, survived attacks, and forged bonds that crossed species and time. They were ready for whatever came next. In that moment, human and dragon understood that their alliance was not only personal, it was universal. They had proven that courage, care, and understanding could create strength beyond fear. The dragon's hum vibrated through Kale, through the freighter, and through space itself, a message of hope and unity. As stars shimmered around them, Kale whispered, "We're not alone. And now we can make sure no one ever is if we help them." The dragon responded with a soft roar, powerful yet gentle, a sound that promised protection and strength. The galaxy watched and listened. One human, one ancient dragon, together had created something greater than themselves. A new alliance, a beacon of hope, and proof that even the most abandoned and feared creatures could rise again, stronger, wiser, and ready to protect worlds. And so, Kale and the dragon continued their journey side by side. Together they were not just survivors, they were guardians, teachers, and symbols of what the universe could become when courage, trust, and compassion guided every action. The story of the abandoned dragon and the brave human would echo through the stars for generations, a new beginning for worlds that had long forgotten the power of partnership.